Welcome to On the Chain. This is Jeff here with co-host Chip. What is going on, everybody? What is going on with XRP? XRP to all-time highs when Ripple wins over the SEC. The SEC not abiding by the law. Ripple, man, they're following the letter of the law. Maxine Waters protecting Sam Bankman-Fried. It just never ends. Never ends, Chip. Ready to kick this thing off?
Let's go.
Let's go.
Welcome to On the Chain.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Yeah. Good morning. Where is all the stuff, man?
Good
Hey,
day.
yeah. Good morning, everybody. Good to see you. Good
Last
morning.
night
Good
was a
evening.
blast.
Yeah. So Jeff and I had a little outing, which was actually great to actually get out and meet and see some people in person.
For
We got
real
to hang-
people.
Some real people from the crypto
Real.
community. It was actually a lot of fun. There's a thing called Art Basel going down in Miami. So Jeff and I went down and we hung out with some community members. Most notable that you guys would know is Blockchain Backer, which was unfortunate because he kind of lost his voice a little bit. And like that's how we all know him is by the Blockchain Backer is his voice. So that was kind of a bummer.
And we said, "Are you sure you're really him or just a paid stand-in?"
And yeah, exactly. It was like, are you sure you're him? And then of course we got to meet Dirk, the founder of Xpector, one of the coolest projects, not only just around the XRPL, but just just period in the NFT space. Cool as hell, just a good vibe, and it was great just chatting. And we talked about crypto a little bit. I think mostly we talked a lot about just almost life stuff, which was a lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun, and we got to meet XRP Productions.
XRP Productions, and we were encouraging at least one of the XRP productions. I've heard there could be a rumor, there could be multiple ones floating around, but the one we spoke to yesterday, just a fascinating individual. And we said, like, man, you really ought to be doing this live, not with your face, but with your voice and driving this. And that's one of the cool things. But yeah, great time. I mean, what were your takeaways from yesterday?
A lot of wine.
There was a lot of wine.
That was.
And Dirk only drinks the best wine. Okay, there's not like that was the low end, the medium end, nothing but high end wines. And
we're trying to find the bagged, boxed, and canned wine, and that didn't happen.
There was none of that to be had. And at a cool place down in Miami.
Nice place in Miami.
Yeah, cool hotel, cool, amazing restaurant, amazing food. But really, it was the company. A couple other folks too from the community, which was really, really fantastic. But just as far as getting out
we
there,
really need that coffee today.
Hell yeah, we do. Hell yeah. Well, the thing was, they kept, Jeff and I were talking about this. You go to a good restaurant, they're going to have the giant carafe. Is that how you say it, Jeff? Carafe. The giant wine. It's like you take 3 sips, you'd look over, and your wine would be filled again. And it's like, okay. You don't know what you're consuming. Well, did I drink some?
It was always at the same level.
Always at the same level. And the guy,
right?
I commented one time, I was like, there's this big table and you're masterful. Like you have this perfect eye. There's no line in the glass, but everyone's is exactly the same volume.
At all times. Right.
At all times. How is that possible?
Right.
So
that was a blast. So man, Alan's asking, am I drinking espresso? Of course I'm drinking espresso. Man, what else do we drink? Man, always drink the espresso. And then you got to use the stovetop mocha pot to make it, man. It's the best. Definitely the best. Well, why doesn't everyone give a quick shout out where you're tuning in from? We know Alan's tuning in from Melbourne, Florida, one of our central northern neighbors. We got Rosta coming in from New York. Look at that.
Roasta.
And we got some UK over here from Auckland, Tim. And I saw, where did I see? Here we go. And we always get England, Australia. Everyone's tuning in a little bit early here. Got Michael coming in from Staffordshire, England, which is very cool. It's nice and warm over there, even though it's winter.
It is.
Oh, we got fuck it, Thailand too. Fuck it, man.
There you go. There's always something there going on.
All right, everyone's shouting out here. All right, what are we going to cover first, Chip? We got
I'll tell you what we're gonna jump into. I think first. I think this probably has to be the first thing on the agenda here. But just going on with what we've been covering pretty diligently, the Ripple, the SEC v Ripple case, and wanted to let's jump into this. I'm just framing some of these up here, so give me 1 second here as we kind of like skip through here.
I'm gonna go through. Look at where everyone's tuning in from, man. We got
New Zealand, Long Island,
dude, Malaysia, in the house. And we had Scotland. We got Belfast.
Jeff, you know, at some point we have to go visit all these our people, man. The OTC family, of course. Oz Crypto
from
Uzbekistan, of course, man. Where else would you be coming with? With that Aussie flag and Aussie name, of course, Uzbekistan. Where else could it be? Tennessee, home of some fine
LA
moonshine. Adelaide, yeah, I'm probably saying it wrong. Space
Adelaide.
Coast. I know I'm saying it's not Adelaide. It's something else. Oz will correct us in there.
Jim D is right there, right next to Alan, and they're like neighbors. Melbourne,
Sydney. I would love to go to Sydney. Look, that's I haven't been to Australia, man, and it's really someplace I want to go. There's no doubt about that. But guys, let's jump in. Let's jump into this thing. Let's get this thing kicked off here because we have none other than Jimmy Filan, the best friend to the XRP community by posting every time something hits the docket, Jimmy's on it. And he says, breaking, Ripple has filed its redacted reply to the SEC's opposition to Ripple's motion for summary judgment. And of course, Stu Alderoty, general counsel over there at Ripple, he said, hey, Ripple's reply brief is public. You can view it here. So it's pretty cool when the general counsel, Stu Alderoty of Ripple, is putting Jimmy Filan and telling people pointing people where to go to actually read it. Oh, the Philippines, yeah.
Not just anywhere,
Cebu, yeah, man. And then and then Garlinghouse. I thought this statement right here is absolutely fantastic. Garlinghouse said, I said it on day one, we will aggressively fight to get clear rules for the entire industry in the US. Jeff, that's a huge statement right off the bat.
A massive statement.
Right off the bat. Just get clear rules. And that's what Garlinghouse was. He says, we're going to fight. We're going to fight. We're going to go. He says, congrats to all of Team Ripple for getting us to this point. Ripple stood strong and withstood the SEC's onslaught. Also a clever word. I look forward to being on the right side of justice.
Dude, that's a huge statement coming from Garlinghouse, the CEO of Ripple. As we've seen lately, we've seen some strong comments coming from Jesse Powell. We've seen strong comments coming from LBRY. It's just what we've witnessed over the past 2 years, and we've discussed this day in and day out, is the complete zealous overreach by the SEC. But you know what the beauty of all this is right now is that we're starting to see a free platform open up, which is Twitter, and all of this information that's been buried and subverted is now going to reveal itself. Everybody out there that's talked about crypto, that's had a difference of opinion to those that seem to run all media platform, everyone is now going to be able to voice their opinions. And this is a big one right here, and just in general, so I'm really excited to see the direction things are moving in, because we have this zealous government representation that is now, they're going to be on the decline. And this is just such a perfect example of what the SEC has done to a company like Ripple, expecting that they could outspend them and just crush them. And man, and Garlinghouse saying it right there. The fight for clear rules for the entire industry in the U.S. Yeah, like how he underscores in the U.S. Chip.
Proper grammar, you're supposed to spell that out there. Day one, O-N-E, but we'll let him slide in that. So what's interesting, though, is I love some of the replies here. So let's go through them. So Jeremy Hogan, just a simple reply, and it says a lot. #respect. Because I kind of feel like that sums up how a lot of us are feeling, right? We're all feeling this massive amount of respect because they didn't cower, they didn't bend, they didn't throw in the towel. They fought aggressively. They didn't turn around. They fought it head on. They fought everything the SEC could throw at them. And they went into the war chest, right? This cost a lot of money. Jeff, what was the last figure we heard? We know it's well over $100 million. there you go. So it is well over $100 million. I mean, Oz can probably testify to that. So, you know, if it's if you're paying attention. And then we had this one right here. Of course we're laughing. Look at this right here. So this is Mr. Intuitive. And this one I love, this picture right here. Just a bunch of moon people just dancing and hanging out, looking up, and just, you know, moon party time, whatever. And if you have a chance to check on the mic over here, check 2, check 3, a lot of this dude over in the hallway over there, I don't know what's up with him. I think he's just happy to be alive, coming out, seeing everything, the little dancing.
How cool is it, man? The moon. There's all your moon boys right there.
Of course, this is in New York, because you can see the trash is already on the street, right? I mean, if you guys are ever lucky enough to be in New York City, where they have so much trash piled up on the street, it's nauseating, man. It's pretty rough, right? And then I like Anders, who's a long time, been around for as long as I can remember in the XRP Twitter community. He says, sounds like no settlement. We're like, Jeff, we've been saying this the whole entire time.
Saying that for 2 years.
No settlement. Why would you? And who's going to settle? Ripple's like, we'll settle. You say today's XRP, not a security. But meanwhile, what did the SEC say? All XRP, even on the secondary market, it's all securities. So, I mean, problem is they had a very weak case going in, and it got weaker as time went on, and they tried to defend it, and then they were all over the place in the defense of what, you know, what came to pass. So it's XRP Crypto Wolf said Ripple couldn't have beaten the SEC without the XRP community. True. We know Brad can't say that right now, but you're welcome. And that's also a big statement, Jeff, because if you think about all the things that were uncovered, probably just would have floated by. I don't think anybody was looking under, behind doors and under things to see what was out there. And you see what the community turned up, a lot of crypto sleuths out there. But the big one goes to John Deaton. That's the big one right there. And that's what's not said here, but 75,000 XRP holders represented. That's strong. I don't know if there's ever been anything like it in any case, at least that I know of, that fought the SEC, that had that much support. And John Deaton deserves an amazing amount of credit here, because he was out there on Fox Business. He was out there, on the crypto channels. He was the first place he came was here. Just right
here on the chain.
He came on the chain.
Man, getting the message out, Chip.
Getting the message out and talking wherever he could get a platform. He was everywhere. And, John is an incredibly generous guy. And, Jeff and I know him a little bit off screen, and he's one of the most generous humans out there. But all of this because of the wrongdoing. And he said so many times, look, if they had gone after ETH, he would have defended as well. He talked about the idea of the overreach, which is, we're seeing that everywhere, Jeff. I mean, you brought up the Twitter thing, and that whole thing that Matt Taibbi that was tweeting out on behalf of what was released from Twitter. It's not anything we didn't know. We always suspected it happened, and so it's just a matter of like, okay, here's us dotting the I's and crossing the T's.
It's a matter of time, Chip. And the thing is, people want to look as though everything operates in a vacuum. So they say, hey, what goes on in politics doesn't impact us over here on this side. But what we're witnessing is that when you have fascist behavior and totalitarian behavior, and they try to, again, like we said, subvert our freedoms of speech and in the passing of accurate information, when we see government overreach to try to crush a public company, not because of any reason other than that's what they want to do, or when they prop up another and they pat them on the back and they coddle them like they're doing with FTX and Sam Bankman-Fried, which just makes no sense, right? Everything is just upside down and backwards. But what we do know and what we are seeing is that you can't have oppressive behavior on one side and it doesn't influence the other side. So what we saw was oppressive behavior from government in terms of freedom of speech, and that definitely filters over to oppressive behavior of government as it relates to the industry that everyone here is so passionate about, which is cryptocurrency and blockchain and the growth of this space in the US, putting Ripple on the forefront as they try to crush them into non-existence. And man, this is, I can't it's so hard to express, without trying to get into the full politics of it and really trying to stay focused on the crypto space, on how significant this what we're witnessing right now with Twitter, even James Wood, right? James Wood, so we saw what happened with him, and he was blacklisted in Hollywood because of some of his opinions. And now that's coming full circle because now he's got his voice back. Twitter crushed him for like 8-9 months, and they silenced him. And could you imagine what Twitter has been doing to all of us in this community? How many people in the crypto community had said, hey, I've been, blacklisted on Twitter. My voice has been silenced. I can't say certain things about blockchain. That we went through that period of time. How about YouTube channels that were shut down? Our YouTube channel, if you guys remember, was deleted midstream by YouTube because we were talking about blockchain and cryptocurrency. How many, what the freedom.
I'll say that too loud, Jeff. Let's keep that down a little bit there.
Right. But the freedom that is critical to everybody here, really, Chip, is something we're looking through, decentralized finance. This is your freedom to have your money, the freedom for you to make your money, the freedom to invest in what you want to invest in. The SEC case, SEC v. Ripple, symbolizes so much for the U.S. But then, Chip, what's interesting about it, and I think Brad Garlinghouse, he noted that when he was over in Dubai or in Qatar or wherever, and they were doing a speech, and he wanted to talk about the lawsuit, and they said, hey, nobody here really cares about the lawsuit.
Nobody cares.
So that impacts you guys in the U.S. You might be slow, you might find a slowdown in the U.S., but everywhere else in the world is embracing. And man, it's an interesting time, Chip.
Yeah, it certainly is. And I just wanted to show one more thing here now that I have it up here. Where is it? Oh, good God. Here it is right here. And this is also thanks to XRP_Crow. But here it is right here. This is a quote from Brad Garlinghouse. Chris and I had the option to settle separately, talking about Chris Larson and Brad Garlinghouse. We could do that, and it would all be behind us. And that's how confident Chris and I are that we are right. We will aggressively fight and prove our case. And it also, look, I mean, Jeff and I have said many times we'd love to have a settlement. It'd be, we even have a standing bet with Nick Birfedo and also Alex coining 203. But it's not about winning a bet. This is about what's right. And, we called it the way we saw it, just based on how weak the case was. Boom! And this had to be done. And sometimes battling it out was the only way. And Brad said many times they try to settle. But boom! If they're not gonna say it's not a security, why would you settle? It's like, and especially to come this far, and people are like, settlement. I can't tell you how many content creators, Jeff, how much do we hear on a daily barrage of settlement video? Like every day.
Man, every single day.
Yes,
every day.
Settlement. Don't miss this. Settlement today at the end of the day. And it's like, well, why would you invest that kind of money defending yourself from this massive overreach? And then go like, yeah, what the hell? Let's toss the towel in. What? I mean, who cares, right? Yeah, get the. Yeah, that's exactly right. You get that mob ready because they're not taking it. And this is what happens. The community rose up. And that XRP Crypto Wolf quote we read a little bit ago, that tweet is exactly spot on. Look, it's everybody here. It's you. You're the ones that made the difference. You're the ones that were out there retweeting stuff and putting it out there and changing, and uncovering stuff, especially the crypto sleuths out there. We know who they are. Uncovering stuff, all kinds of crazy stuff going on. You're like, people are like, what does that have to do with this? Apparently a lot.
There you go, Chip. If you guys want to do another one together, just let me know, your channel or mine.
Hell yeah. Maybe we should go on. Maybe we should do it on Odds Crypto for that. That'd be kind of cool too.
That'd be kind of cool. Yeah, we can go over there. That'd be fun.
Go over there, yeah. But it's gonna have to be in person, so we'll have to fly over there to actually do it. So that'll be fun too. Wouldn't that be fun? It's like, oh, we can't do that. Oh no, there's no magic of doing it.
Needs one for his Patreon.
Patreons. I will drop one there tomorrow. Oh no, for his Patreons. His Patreons. We don't. By the way, we don't have a Patreon. However, we do have a website called onthechain.io where it's we use open source software. And the reason we do that is because we don't believe in centralized stuff. And guess what? Yeah, we don't have anybody with their hand in the cookie jar taking the profits like Patreon does, because Oz loses a lot to Depends on what level you get to, but it can be up to 12% that you lose. And if you're in YouTube, it's 30%. And if you're on Twitter, it's
everything.
It's 30% that Apple takes, and then another cut that Twitter takes. So,
and that, who knows, that'll change here pretty soon. Hopefully they roll out their platform. But Chip, let's go to some of these comments from the community here, from the audience. We've got Alan. This is going on a little earlier on. He said, well, I'll have enough money where we can just rent a private plane and fly around the country doing meetups. And we do want to do a meetup here in South Florida. So stay tuned for that. That would be pretty amazing. We were talking about it a bit yesterday. We could do an on the chain XRP meetup here in South Florida, winter time-ish. So that'd be kind of cool, Chip. We've got Jim D. Everything the SEC does is based on just one objective, delay. They seem to be waiting for some big global event to preempt the whole space. It's a good comment. It's another one, Doug. No, the corruption from top down, as I've always said. XRP Ripple brings down the house. The show is getting good. It is pretty amazing.
A good movie. Yeah, it's a good movie if you're watching it live.
Great, great movie, and we're living it. So OzCrypto said, I don't know if you have read it in full, but honestly, they ripped the investment contract argument and the overreach to shreds. And then we've got, man, it's just great comments that came here that we're flying through. Then Alan was agreeing with Jim. We're waiting for something. Hopefully, all the things they didn't predict push the timeline faster. We can't hold this back. Things are definitely moving. Doug, I want the SEC and corrupt agencies to pay me for holding up my life. Now imagine that one, right? Because here's this zealous overreach of the government, and they've held up everything. We don't know. I mean, it's really hard to say, exactly where we'd be, with the valuation of XRP and some of the other assets had it not been for this lawsuit. But Chip, you brought up something interesting yesterday when we're all talking. It really has to do with this case. Was this case meant to delay? Was it meant to dismantle? Or was it meant to truly provide clarity? Nobody knows, unless we can actually sit down and dissect and get Clayton and Hinman together to really divulge what was the full purpose of this lawsuit, the day before resigning, and really understand from both of them what was this messaging, what was going on in those last days leading up to, and I think that could be really critical.
Yeah, and given what we know of how things work, it's almost everything's nefarious, right? It's not like just something will happen out of the goodness of someone's heart. Maybe they'll do something like that. But when they go after, James Woods is, even since I was younger, was like one of my favorite actors of all time. What you guys probably don't know about James Woods, the actor, he's probably one of the most intelligent people on the planet. Like, his IQ is really off the charts, and his sense of humor, everything. I love his tweets, always have. I missed him when he was gone, but for him to come back and have a voice, and that's really all we have at the end of the day. It applies to everything we do. It applies to what we do in life, having that voice and just your say. Everyone has an opinion. We don't have to agree all the time. You can have this beautiful discord, and that's kind of what Elon Musk is encouraging. Have some discord, talk about it. But to sit in different camps and camp out over here, and we're on the far left and we're on the far right, and nobody's center anymore. Well, good, talk about ideas. Ideas are meant to be talked about. Are they ideas? Are they control? Like, what do you want to talk about? You want to talk about centralization versus decentralization? Let's talk about that.
Exactly. And you know what I got for that?
Look at this. Rough. We got coming in strong, man. Rough Rican. Beautiful, man. That's the super chats. The little, so we have our own lip. Thank you for that, Rough Rican. I'm in a DM group with him. He's always bringing the fire, man. Always bringing the fire and pointing stuff out. And man, true. True. Just an overall good dude. We used to talk back in the day. We used to talk a lot every once in a while. I haven't talked to him in a while. So
check it out. Look at that cool comment.
Guys, we need everybody to hit that back button. If you're on a cell phone, tap the X and hit the like button for this amazing channel that has been here for many years, supporting you and your crypto talk, all the while losing subscribers. So it's like, it happens. But
hey, wait.
Whoa, hang on now. Hang on. Wait up. Hold up.
Eddie.
Crypto Eddie coming in strong. What?
Eddie. What is going on?
Some yen there, man.
Good
That's beautiful.
to
I
see you.
don't think we've ever
need,
seen that before, Jeff.
Wait a minute.
That is outstanding.
Hey, we've been quieted. There we go.
You got to do the air guitar on that too, and you got to make the face, dude. Do it one more time. I got to make a face here. Go ahead. Like,
all right, ready? We got to get there. Wait,
go.
It's hard to time this up. Hang on.
Yeah, ready? Because it's. Let's do it.
Now that. There we go. Sweet. See that?
No, that little bend string at the end.
You got to get the.
You know, a little vibrato on that. Beautiful. You got to do that. Of course, someone's probably going to make a meme of that and say, like, look at these idiots. Yeah. There go the crickets, man. Thank you for that, Crypto Eddie. And if you want to know you want to know the two best.
Hey,
right there.
See that? We've had,
and
this is interesting. We've had multiple people subscribing that I know for a fact were subscribed that had been unsubscribed by YouTube. So,
well, there's confirmation of it right there. But you know, you got the two.
There you go. Ingve
Malmsteen. Yeah, man. You know, when you think about, you know, the two best out there, you know, Oz Crypto, the two best out there. Who are we talking about?
Oh wait,
Jungle.
Wait.
Who are the two best of all time out there? None other than Crypto Eddie and Jungle Inc. Right. So, and if you really want super hype, then watch Oz Crypto. So there you go. We're just, of course, that's an inside joke here. It's a goof because Oz and we goof, and it's because we're friends. We can do stuff.
Our two favorite, most fact-based crypto channels.
That's right, fact-based crypto channels, Crypto Eddie and Jungle Inc. Man,
you want super hype?
That's Jungle. Yeah, and that's not true. That's a goof. If you want some really good perspective, especially an Aussie perspective, yeah, definitely go sub to Oz Crypto. And it's great to see your channel growing, man. I'm so glad you came back.
It's amazing to see Oz back.
And it's great to see the channel growing too, man, because you're underrepresented, man. You ought to have 50 or 100,000, really. And that's what crushes me. Like the really strong people, it's just like for some reason they just don't get some of the traction. But it's good to see you.
Hey,
look at that. She just discovered that. But if we had confirmation of it, Jeff, we suspected it.
Yeah, I mean it's obvious based on algorithm, based on each individual show, the increase in subs on each show, and then a decrease of subs during the month. So it just it doesn't make sense. That's how we get stuck. But they don't like our content sometimes. So the algorithms, man. Steve Vai, there you go. There's another one.
Steve Vai is another good one. Yeah, some good stuff there. And I don't know. We don't really actually. That's just stuff that we pay for, right? That's
and Oz is a hidden gem for sure. The resurrection of his channel is a beautiful thing to see.
Well, also put that back up there for a second. Put that back up because I want to call out Flare Community. Flare Community, really, and it's funny because we've kind of known each other for some time. And when he came out with the channel, what a beautiful job, man! What a beautiful job. You want to really know what's going on with Flare and happening and understand it. Flare Community, another phenomenal channel. You guys really need to go sub to. And I love the little Santa hat on that logo. How come we don't do stuff like that, Jeff? Probably should do stuff like that. It's kind of a fun little thing. You know what happens is you forget about it, and then like it's April, and you're like you still have the Christmas hat. It just sort of happens,
Doug is saying that we all know DAI watches OTC secretly, but never comments when live. Well, this is where everybody comes to get their information. They come here first.
No, they go to Crypto Eddie, they go to Oz Crypto, they go to Jungle Link, and then they come listen to us chat about it. So that's kind of.
So Lou, you and your channel contribute so much to the crypto community. Thanks, appreciate you, Lou, and that deserves.
Yeah, baby. Thank you for that, Lou Mira.
Man, Christina, what is going on? Good morning, good to see you.
Big shout out. Yeah, I forgot to read this part here. This was the other part of Stuart Alderoty's tweet where he said, "This is our final submission where we ask the court to grant judgment in our favor. And why the hell wouldn't they? After 2 long years, Ripple's proud of the defense we've mounted on behalf of the entire crypto industry. We've always played it straight with the court. Can't say the same for our adversary." That's a nice throat punch right there. A nice shot right there, right?
It really is. I like that.
The SEC, and it's like, isn't it weird the timing? Because look what the whole thing going on with FTX, SBF, it's blowing up right at the same time. And who's at the helm? Who's the guy in charge? Gary Daddy G Gensler, right? I mean, he's not. And this came up yesterday too in our conversation at the proverbial table we were sitting at, and it was a big table, and man, we were there for hours, just chatting, laughing, having a great time.
It was hours. What time did we get there? Like 2 o'clock, 2:30,
2 o'clock. We didn't leave till what time was it?
I left at 7.
It
7. No,
it was a long lunch, man.
They came by and they said, "We heard you guys want to order dinner."
Yeah, we sat through. We lunch right through dinner.
I think dinner crowd. It was interesting to see the shift too, wasn't it? It was like the lunch crowd. Yeah, all of a sudden they brought out ropes and they.
Since the place is by and since it's by the beach, right? Like the wind was blowing crazy. It was just like really windy out, and we were sitting pretty close to where the edge of the restaurant. And then they did turn it over. It was like next thing you know, the lights got dimmed and everything else, and we're all sitting there. And I felt like it was still in the afternoon. But,
right.
It took us forever to get off the island. We were on South Beach, and it was just jammed. I mean, I can't remember traffic like that. It's been so long since we were in traffic. It took us like 25 minutes to get off of South Beach.
Yeah, just to get to the freeway. That was crazy.
Just the wall-to-wall traffic to get back over the bridge.
Yeah, it should have taken 30 minutes. It took an hour 20. That was.
And good night. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Good night. You need to turn that volume up a little. That's a little on the low side.
Well, we turned the volume down for the music. They got to adjust this. They need a specific music volume, and they need a. Yeah, thank you.
The clapping too. So let's get into some other news here too. So saw this one. This kind of came out. This one here. Keyrock raises $72 million in funding, led by Ripple. How about that right there? So Ripple. You know what? They're still calling it a startup. And I think there's an official rule. I think it's somewhere between 5 and 10 years. You've eclipsed. You cannot have when are you a startup? It's like General Electric, startup General Electric, startup, startup Tesla. It's like once you age past that 10-year mark, you cannot be called a startup anymore.
Yeah, once you get, exactly. You get there's got to be a certain age mark. There's got to be a valuation mark. There's got to be something. There's maybe a secret sauce behind not calling a startup anymore. But Ripple is definitely beyond the startup phase.
Yeah, the funding round led by 6 fintech ventures, Middle Game Ventures, concluded in the middle of September, which is interesting. We're just kind of finding out about it. Although Keyrock CEO Kevin Batul said he would not disclose the valuation in an interview at the Block. It's like, can you come into Block and do an interview with us, Kevin? Sure, I'd love to. So can you tell us a little bit about how much the valuation? No.
No.
He's like, no, I'm not going to tell you.
I'm not going to talk about that.
That's a pretty softball question. It's not like asking them like, can you see your balance sheet? It's like, hey, what's the valuation, right? So the company previously raised 4.3 million euros in a Series A funding in October. Keyrock provides exchanges and other marketplaces with a buy and sell price for a certain asset. Typically, they generate a profit by. Typically, I like this word typically. Typically the profit is generated by reselling an item for more than they paid for it, because that's kind of how life works, right? Buy low, sell high, and a practice known as the spread.
The spread.
Ripple offers its market making offering to customers for monthly fee, involves markets and that. But anyway, I thought that was a pretty cool kind of a story there.
We bought it.
We could jump into, and this is another one.
The riff.
We don't know whose riff. We don't know whose riff it is, because it's we subscribe to a like a music library type thing, and of course they're not really good at like it's probably not. It could be somebody, a named guitarist, but it's not the actual creator of that is not like a well-known name. But who knows? Somebody could be just doing riffs for these libraries, and maybe it is somebody.
I was just saying, what's up? Hey, Chip, can we sideline into this one real quick? This is,
please do.
Man, I love Jesse Powell. I love how this guy has really come out super strong. He came out big time in defense of the industry with Kraken. Now, obviously, he's kind of stepped aside from his position.
Well, he's not the CEO, but he's in the board.
Yeah. So it's interesting too. Now, there's a couple things that have come out over the past day or so with SBF. One of the things said he misaccounted for like $8 billion of customer funds. Maxine Waters kind of coddling and patting him on the back. I know we have some interesting stuff there, but I like this one. This is Jesse Powell. SBF is completely full of shit about how margin trading works. He's saying that the whole exchange operated on a net account equity model, and anybody could borrow anything in any amount, from client funds or from nowhere. That's not how it should work. I mean, It gets crazier and crazier, right? Jesse says it all added up if you counted negative balances as 100% recoverable. What the F, dude? No, dude. Borrowing 10,000 Bitcoin from client balances versus FTT at mark to market is not just bad risk management, which we know they had zero risk management based on what's her name from Alameda. It is obfuscated fraud. The only difference between SBF and Madoff is Madoff didn't have a token. The only difference, and that's a good point too, because the government ignored all the warning signs of Madoff for years and years and years and years. Seems that they did the same thing with SBF, but man,
Jeff, also, if I may add, Terry Duffy from the CME group, I mean, he was the one that came out and had that meeting. And I think this is really damaging, quite honestly. I think this is really telling, especially someone like the CME group, which is really respected, as far as risk management is concerned. He said, look, I'll give you all the crypto clients, take them. There's millions of dollars right there in trades and everything. But let me go ahead and handle the risk management. He's like, oh no, we want to use our model. Yeah, well,
yeah.
Their model what their model was taking everyone's funds, and then backing it with this FTT token, right? They're over leveraged over a worthless.
And this one here.
Not only is the token worthless, it has zero utility other than to, I guess, leverage itself. I mean, it's used as leverage. That's its utility, leveraging against people's crypto money. But go ahead, Jeff, continue.
Money, so Brad Mills' comment here is at least Rand asked whether or not Alameda was just taking people's money and selling fake Bitcoin, and he basically said yes. I mean, what the? This is so crazy. So Jesse Powell, his answer to the last question about synthetic or fake tokens confirms it as well. They had more tokens in the system than they actually had balances, so they weren't capped by lending from client balances. They were literally just printing new coins like a central bank. Man, the more that stuff comes out on this, and the more we see that there was some correlation between the Financial Services Committee, the SEC, and some others within government, and hopefully, some of these emails start revealing themselves. Maybe there'll be more, coming through the whole, Twitter information dump. But man,
and what's very telling about it is like, and we have some more to talk about too. We have some other stuff coming up with Maxine Waters, but we've gotten so to the point of like where everything is so surreal and the lies are just like blatant. And that's cool if you're living in the 1800s. In the 1800s, you say like, listen, fine fellow, I attended your speech 2 weeks ago and you said this. No, I didn't. Well, there's no video of it. There's no recording of it. And it's like there was a newspaper writer that wrote it down, and so I was misquoted. We have video, we have the stuff, we have the audio, we have everything, and they're just blip, 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 blip. And it's not just here in the US, it's worldwide phenomenon, Jeff. And it's gotten crazier and crazier, and it's just
insane. Yeah, that's man. Look at Jim D was saying, it was all the talk about the counterfeit crypto being used by FTX, and that's Alchemist saying counterfeiting was always the violation. Synthetic artificial representation of crypto that was not in the actual customers' accounts.
Correct. And also too, and George Stephanopoulos did a rare form of, actual journalism, which I was actually shocked by. But the interview he did on Good Morning America, which we have that as well. I don't think it's a longer interview, but one of the things he talks about, he asked him a point blank question about, about the funds and stuff. And it was like, no, you didn't answer my question. And you get that maniacal kind of look on Sam Bankman-Fried's face where he's like, looking like a psychopath, man. I was like, and his, the guy is out of his mind when his attorneys are saying, don't do these interviews. And he's like, he actually believes his own bullshit, Jeff. And that might be part of his problem, is he actually believes he's a good guy. Everyone's making him out to be the modern day Robin Hood. Sam Bankman probably would have solved climate change if only the consumers didn't lose faith in him. Ripped everybody off. It's like these puff pieces, it's getting to the point where everything looks like The Onion or XRP productions, or the standard productions, where it's like even everything's parody almost. It's a parody of itself. Or the Babylon Bee. It's like every Babylon Bee, we laugh at them. They're such outlandish headlines, and then just wait a month and they all come true. It's like at some point. I wanted to play this John Deaton clip from Fox Business the other day. And again, just as
Crypto Law founder John Deaton. And John, Sam Bankman-Fried, he continues to suck all the oxygen out of the room. He keeps casting this dark shadow over the entire crypto world. So my question is why isn't he doing the perp walk yet? You know, I mean, really, it's just, you think of all these sort of things, and you know, I mean, I just don't recall Bernie Madoff, you know, making the rounds like this. And again, from a journalistic point of view, you probably want to interview these folks, but other people are wondering, really, billions are missing. Why is this guy walking around?
You brought up Bernie Madoff. He was arrested the day after, you know, he confessed.
Right.
Sam Bankman-Fried has confessed in his Twitter feed and everything else. Charles, I don't know, but there's two things you can do it. What I would do is you arrest now. There's enough information under 18 U.S.C. 1343. That's the wire fraud statute. There's enough for the fraud statute. He went around looking like crypto savior, pretending to be crypto savior, and he goes to BlockFi and says, I'll give you this loan, but you have to deposit your client money in my FTX account. And then, of course, he steals that money to run his Ponzi hedge fund. So if I were in charge, I'd have had him arrested, introduce him to a 3x5 cell, remind him of what Russ Ulbricht, who did much less with Silk Road, is serving 2 life sentences plus 40 years.
I'm hearing more and more about that. People are really you know, it's a story we all kind of forgot about. And I want to bring you back and talk more specifically about that. But there's just so many headlines. This interview with Sam Bankman-Fried, if you had a chance to ask him any questions right now, what do you want to hear? What hasn't he blurted out yet that we need to know?
Great question. The first thing, I get him to agree that the user agreement specified that the funds were client-only funds. And so he then commandeered those funds illegally and then sent them to Alameda. That needs to be brought up. Second, he had a back door. That back door allowed him to conceal the transfers from FTX to Alameda. But he claims, Charles, that he doesn't know how to code.
Yeah.
So who did it? Who did it? He needed to ask those questions.
Who exactly did it? And that was what Stephanopoulos actually asked him about. He read the part of the user agreement where it said that. It wasn't like, hey, by the way, when you deposit your funds at FTX, they become the property of FTX and will be used as leverage. I mean, there was none of that specificity in there.
So here's the big question of the day, Chip. Why the hell is SBF not already in prison or even Gitmo? This is where the Maxine Waters commentary needs to be plugged in, because this is where it gets
I have
a little murky and, you know, obvious. So how can you say murky and clear all at the same time? But there's kind of a murky relationship, but it's very clear as to why he's not in jail. And there's a couple points, a couple weeks ago or last week, whenever that was, we had played a clip of Maxine Waters waving or blowing kisses at SBF. Now, we also know that FTX had multiple politicians that they donated to. Now, that's nothing unusual for businesses, because a lot of businesses will seed money all over the place. To all sorts of different politicians based on, maybe some potential expectation of some payback at some point. However, we don't know exactly what the tie-in was across the board, but we can visually see it with certain individuals. And one of the big ones, the ones that would be directly responsible for oversight, the SEC and I think the Financial Services Committee would definitely have something to say, or at least Maxine Waters would have something to say. Somehow they were cozying up with him just a little too closely. There's just something going on, and that's what we need to see. And we're going to see a lot more come January.
Yeah. And Jeff, what's interesting about that, it's when we talk about the Maxine Waters, she runs the Financial Services Committee. And this kind of came up in yesterday's conversation too, is like, hey, if 2 years ago, I know we had a changeover, but as far as Congress is concerned, since the last midterms taking over the House, 3 years have gone by, and people are like, we heard that there was some other legislation. One of the YouTubers is working on some legislation. I'm like, you don't need to. The token taxonomy handles it all, and to sit there and then Cynthia Lummis, Bitcoin maximalist, who's going to write her stuff and she's running around there on the TV going, Bitcoin is the only decentralized asset. Well, welcome to the Maximalist Club. But no, that's not how it works. And you need a better staff. You need a little more education. And I know a lot of us have attempted that sort of education level. But it's amazing to me is that this stuff has been sitting in the financial services. It doesn't even come out of committee. Like the committee has to at least get it out to the floor so they can vote and at least give it a chance. If it gets voted down, then you know who to vote for next time, right? They're against crypto. They're against legislation. But and there's something else coming up too that we'll put up here that John Deaton calls out. But you know what's so funny? The people in Congress are like, we need legislation. We need clear guidelines. Well, guess what? You're the one supposed to be creating it. It's like they walk around there with this straw man sort of thing. It's like this and they and them. It's you. It's on you, and it's your failure. And this is why Congress writes things so wonky, because they don't want it to actually ever flow back to them if something goes wrong. And that's why it's written in very broad terms, open to interpretation. But let's look at this tweet here that Maxine Waters put out. Actually, let's put us over there. And if you see this, so this is what you call it. This is a co-tweet, okay? And you can tweet it from two accounts. One account starts it, the other account can add something to it. So through two. So this isn't even a mistake, because the first thing I thought is everyone's got a blue check mark today, so it's got to be a parody, Jeff. It's got to be satire, right? But no, it was actually Maxine Waters with the U.S. House Committee on Financial Services. She did the co-tweet. Of course, she has her picture on both because she is the chairwoman of the, right, for now, until 23 days from now when she's no longer. But here's the tweet. Sam Bankman-Fried, we appreciate that you've been candid in your discussions about what happened at FTX. Your willingness to talk to the public will help the company's customers, investors, and others. To that end, we would welcome your participation in the hearing on the 13th. Jeff, what is wrong with this statement? Go.
Dude,
oh, geez,
all of it.
I mean, what?
I mean, you look at it. First, they appreciate him being candid in his discussion. So he just lost how many billions of dollars, admitted to the fraud. We just saw what John Deaton said about it, right? The question that everybody's asking is, why has he not been arrested yet? John Deaton said, there's enough. Arrest him now. There's no reason to wait. Go over to the Bahamas, get him extradited, whatever you got to do. It doesn't make any sense. But for her to come out, this is just all telling. To me, it reveals everything. The way she's handling and treat. This is like her saying that to Madoff or, some other unscrupulous individual, and say, yeah, we appreciate you being candid with us and, coming in and your willingness to talk to the public. I mean, what do you mean what do you mean your willingness to talk to the public? And to that end, we would welcome your participate, unless this is like you said, some sort of a parody. She's being super, super nice because, this is like the carrot, and on the other side is going to be the hammer. I don't see it, after she's blowing kisses and being all friendly and blah, 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 and just like too much in this statement is just way too nice. This pathetic, whole overture, Jeff. It's really pathetic. This guy just, crashed the market. It's horrendous. Just very, man. And so the commentary that we're going to read now from LBRY and from Jeremy Hogan is spot on.
Look at this, the LBRY, and I got to tell you, I've really been impressed with LBRY. Look, they may have said some things that maybe their attorneys weren't so happy with, but it's been full blast transparency and exactly top of mind. And Jeremy Kaufman over there is just fantastic. We're trying to get him back on the chain here. He said he would come out. We're just trying to schedule something here. We had him on a while back, early days. So here's LBRY's comment. Hey, Maxine.
Before you read that, Kelly Slade, Sam is like a financial Ted Bundy to Maxine.
Something like that. Yeah. So here's the comment. Hey, Maxine Waters, we'd like to be treated nicely by the government the way criminals like Sam Bankman-Fried are. Can you let us know how much to write a check for and where to send it? Feel free to DM if you want to keep this private. I mean, perfect response, right? This is because that's what everyone's thinking. This looks so smarmy and just absolutely gut rot. It's pathetic, Yeah, go ahead. You can DM us. You can DM us and make sure if you want to keep. And then Jeremy Hogan said, you as the chairwoman or the committee itself, since you co-tweeted, can just subpoena him to testify. There's no need to ask nicely on Twitter. It's House Rule number 11, Clause 2M. But I'm sure you already knew that. Jeff, I'm not so sure she knew that. That's what I'm worried about.
Well, yeah, I'm sure there's someone there that knows. But I think the point here is they don't want to get on his bad side either, right? So here they have an individual. Maybe he's going to be unsteady, maybe, just completely unstable coming in. So they have to be friendly to him. What kind of information does he have on all of them? That's the question, right? So he donated to a lot of politicians, but giving $1,900 or $10,000, I don't see many politicians, being bought for small amounts of money like that. When you start giving huge sums before and after the fact, so there's going to be a trail. She was way too cozy with him. It just looks really, really bad on its face, and the fact that she's trying to coddle up to him and not just bring him in. Is she trying to, placate just so, he doesn't drop some sort of a bomb on the market on Twitter and say, oh, by the way, here's an email correspondence, or here's whatever correspondence between, between FTX and this congressperson and this congressperson and this look at this pay for play that is being revealed. Is he holding that kind of information? Are they afraid of it, or are they just trying to pick winners and losers? That's why it's so murky, but it's so clear.
Yeah, I mean, I almost said Moon Lambo, but he's since changed it to Moon Family Sedan. I guess. So it's Moon Family Sedan, it was Moon Lambo. That. He said, I'll leave this right here for you. He was Benny Johnson put this tweet out where caught Maxine Waters appears to blow a kiss at FTX chief fraudster Sam Bankman-Fried at a congressional hearing while the cameras are rolling. She's supposed to be the one grilling him next month, right? The one that's politely asking, hey, listen, if you're not so busy doing all these interviews and puff pieces and, saving the world and donating to, Congress members, could you pencil us in for the hearing? I mean, and there she is right there. And if you're listening on the podcast, not only is she, she blows a kiss, she waves bye-bye, and then the people in the background, they're all like, and then, there's somebody else with a mask there that's shaking her head, and she's probably, oh, we just love you, Sam. We just love you. Thank you. When's one of those donations rolling in? So the massive amount of collusion going on here is just absolutely ridiculous. Here you have Cryptopainter put this one out, and this took some time, Jeff, and I think this is an absolute work of art. He said, what about fraud, wire fraud? These are both federal offenses. SBF needs to be in prison. And look at this beautiful artwork. So on the top, this is a cell. This is that 3x5 cell, and I'll describe it for you guys. So he's got the MIT with the autographed football up top there. He's got his two metal things where he gets his gruel in on once in the morning and once at night, his coffee mug. And there he is. Looks like SBF's put on some weights, got some prison tattoos there, grew a big old beard to go with that burly hair of his, big old pot belly there. There's a sink in the background. You can see his Forbes article, and there's a picture of Caroline there and Tom Brady with the laser eyes, and there's a picture with him on the back wall with Maxine Waters, and if you look over this side, you can see, look what happened. He's got when you see those, like the crimes, people are trying to figure out what happened with the crime. He's got all the red strings joining them all, and you see Gare Bears over there, and you have all the players. There's Pocahontas over there at the SEC, and then you've got some of the other players in there, and it's all kind of like scratched out. But this one took some time, Jeff, and I thought this is absolutely brilliant. So shout out to Painter at Painter_crypto for that beautiful artwork. And then there's this one here as well, but I think that's a video. I think I'd have to plug something in.
Here's a comment here from Liz Taylor. I believe he said Elizabeth Warren's daughter worked for SBF at FTX, was with him at the hearing. Man, this is just, everything that we're witnessing right now. I mean, it just unreal, right? Here, FTX was the fastest corporate failure in U.S. history. The trustees calling for a probe. And there we go. Something is going to happen, from a market high of $32 billion earlier in the year to a severe liquidity crisis after a proverbial run on the bank. And there you go. And so there's going to be some people that are going to go down with it. It just doesn't happen overnight. We all said right from the day one, Chip, there was something, just wrong about it, from day one, the pace at which he grew from nothingness to the leader and very suspicious. And we knew there was something going on in between, behind the scenes.
Well, we also speculated too, not only on air, but you and I speculated behind the scenes too, that just where's all this funding coming from? And where is all, I mean, like no other company in history were putting their name everywhere and celebrities and this, it just felt like too much, you know, and he was asked that in that and Stephanopoulos interview. And I wonder if you watched that segment because he did bring up the whole point about the user agreement to Sam Bankman-Fried. But I want to put this one up here because if you want to see what's great about John Deaton and Jeremy Hogan calling out the bullshit here, look at this. So Bitcoin Magazine tweeted out, breaking, the U.S. Department of Justice demands fraud investigation of FTX, claims that there's a substantial evidence that Sam Bankman-Fried and other managers engage in fraudulent conduct, I should say. And then John Deaton said, you don't say. Well, who are they demanding it to? Themselves? I mean, they're demanding, this is what, Jeff, we just talked about this earlier, where the Congress will get up there and a member of Congress like, we have to fight for this. And you know where that all started? That started 2 administrations ago. It started with a guy named Obama. And Obama would get up there and rally and like, we got to fight for the people. And we got to, dude, you're the guy, man. You're the guy. You're the top of the executive branch. You're the one supposed to make you get up there and rally. And we got to move the people and we got to get excited about it. Well, do something, you know? And here we are. You don't say, well, who are they demanding that to? Of themselves? They demand. The Justice Department, the DOJ is demanding an investigation.
Well,
an investigation.
Yeah, investigate. Well,
look at Jeremy Hogan says,
investigate.
Jeremy Hogan says, I hereby demand that Jeremy Hogan gets up and exercises. Let me know if that happens. That's great. Oscar Arneson says, hashtag brave. I mean, it's just bad. Broke himself so hard in that Spaces last night. Hell of a time to be alive. Yeah. And you know what's great about this is that Sam Bankman-Fried, listen, if you stepped in it, you know they say the first rule of holes, when if you're in one, stop digging. Well, right now, if he's in the Bahamas, he's halfway to China right now, okay? Because he's digging this massive hole for himself that you can't, and you know, he's gonna look back and say, but I thought I was right, and I thought that everything I did was the right thing to do, and I was just, and always the looking down and the weird looks and stuff. I mean, what a creep. And this love fest is running out quicker than people think. It's not going on forever, Jeff. The love fest is gonna run out all the time we have today. We love and having you guys with us. We'll be back tomorrow night with some more content, a little bit of laugh, a little bit of fun, a little bit. What happened to the music?
You're
playing it out, man. It was like, it was awesome. It was awesome.
Listen up the audio.
Yeah, man.
The audio is getting messed up. There we go.
Yeah, because we have the play out music now. But anyway, guys, want to thank everybody. Thank you for the super chats. It makes a big difference around here for Jeff and I. And also the channel. Click that like, and because it does, you know, and drop a comment in there, not in the comment of the chat, but drop it in the comment. I don't care if it's an emoji, a happy emoji, a not so happy emoji, a shocked emoji. Those comments that are positive instead of the ones that apparently YouTube can't fix, because everyone is written exactly the same way, but their AI doesn't work like that. And when Jeff and I have to go there, we'll become, you know, spam busters. Jeff, I'll give you the last word before we get out of here.
Spam busters.
Buster. Oh, that's your last word? I meant like
that's my last word. You guys
two
are
words.
Obviously
we're gonna play it.
The best and the greatest in all of YouTube crypto space. Appreciate you guys. Looking forward to seeing you guys on the next one back here Sunday evening, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll see you guys then. Thank you, and big shout out to Crypto Eddie and Crypto Oz for hanging in there.
See you guys on the next one. Chip and Jeff. Ow!
Are you down with OTC? Please like, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when the next video drops. Are you down with OTC? Please like, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when the next video drops.